We are often confronted with grand choices that seemingly have deep consequences for the rest of our lives. How should we go about making these choices? How should we ponder and weigh the vast implications these choices carry with them? Perhaps even more fundamentally, is there any use to thinking about what to do? Cognitive psychology tells us that our subconscious makes our decisions for us, with our conscious, thinking selves only becoming aware of this decision after the fact. Yet experiments also show that reasoning itself changes how we think and prepares us for future responses. The more we contemplate which course of action to take, the more influential our internal decision trees become when it really matters. But it still begs the question, how should we think about which course to take? Existential philosophy, which embarks from the assumption of ultimate freedom of the individual and his or her responsibility to make decisions within the infinite possibilities bestowed on him or herself, offers various clues as to how to go about settling on those courses that define the grand trajectory of our lives. Søren Kierkegaard, often dubbed the father of existential philosophy, already pointed out how futile even grand choices may be without any forethought as to what type of life we wish to live, in his book, Either Or. If you marry, you will regret it. If you do not marry, you will also regret it. If you marry or if you do not marry, you will regret both. Whether you marry or you do not marry, you will regret both. Laugh at the world's follies, you will regret it. Weep over them, you will also regret it. If you laugh at the world's follies or if you weep over them, you will regret both. Whether you laugh at the world's follies or you weep over them, you will regret both. This, gentlemen, is the sum of all practical wisdom. For Kierkegaard, there are three stages to life. The aesthetic stage, in which a person aims to satisfy their desires at their whim in order to experience pleasure. The ethical stage, in which one aims to act in accordance with moral laws and with social interest in mind. And finally, the religious stage, in which a person finds fulfillment and acceptance of one's innate human flaws. This particular quote is written from the aesthetical point of view, in which one never finds fulfillment, as each decision is a missed opportunity to experience pleasure elsewhere. You may marry, which may give you joy, but you will lose out on other opportunities that similarly provide joy for you. In the aesthetic life, there is no proper foundation that directs your choices, that will help you prioritize and properly weigh alternatives. In short, there are no principles that guide you, but rather there's an endless torment of regret that comes with each decision we make. Echoing Kierkegaard's reflection on the aesthetic life, psychoanalyst Adam Phillips also provides a comforting reflection of the value of things we did not do. Our lived lives might become a protracted mourning for, or an endless tantrum about, the lives we were unable to live. But the exemptions we suffer, whether forced or chosen, make us who we are. Still, the question remains what we are to base our decisions on. Friedrich Nietzsche, who was vehemently critical of conformist views and traditional values, ardently proclaimed the view that each individual should strive to disentangle from the social mores, norms, and values that are so deeply embedded in society and so strongly determine the attitudes that many individuals live by. This captures Nietzsche's idea of the Übermensch, someone who rises above the mediocre standards imposed by society, but rather creates their own set of values, free from social conformity. It requires the individual to gaze into the wondrous infinity of choice and possibility and make freely willed choices for him or herself only. It forces us to ponder one's core values, the guiding principles we want to live up to, guide us and define us. As Roy Disney more concisely advised, it is not hard to make decisions when you know what your values are. Yet this vast array of possibilities also offers a challenge: how to ensure that one makes the right choice out of so many. Nietzsche offers the idea of eternal recurrence as a thought experiment to think beyond the mere choice and forces one to consider how each decision fits into the grander scope of life. What if someday or night a demon were to steal after you into your loneliest loneliness and say to you, "This life as you now live it and have lived it, you will have to live once more and innumerable times more. And there will be nothing new in it, but every pain and every joy and every thought and sigh and everything unutterably small or great in your life will have to return to you, all in the same succession and sequence." Would you not throw yourself down and gnash your teeth and curse the demon who spoke thus? Or have you once experienced a tremendous moment when you would have answered him, "You are a god, and never have I heard anything more divine"? The French philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre argued that when it comes to making choices, reason and deliberation are useless. According to him, if an individual deliberates on which route to take, they have already made the choice and only seek another opinion to affirm their previous decision. In line with existential thinking, rationality, according to Sartre, is ill-suited to make decisions that are to be based in subjective meaning, rather than cold-hearted, calculative thinking. To quote Kierkegaard, human reason has boundaries. For Sartre, therefore, it is impossible to know exactly which route to take beforehand. Rather, we should learn to take solace in the knowledge that there is no intrinsic right choice or compass that points us exactly in the right direction, and quite simply, to act. According to Sartre, it is only by acting itself that we mold the person we seek to become, as explained by Franz Adler in this way. Man chooses and makes himself by acting. Any action implies a judgment that he is right under the circumstances, not only for the actor, but also for everybody else in similar circumstances. In other words, there is no watertight way of knowing beforehand which course is the right one and how our decisions will pan out. Rather, it is embracing the freedom that we are naturally imbued with that should guide our actions first and foremost, so that through acting we can answer the question, what is the person I want to be? This is the actual question we should ask ourselves instead of tormenting our minds with what we are to do at any given instant. How do you want people to remember you? What do you want your eulogy to sound like? What legacy do you want to leave? Gazing straight into the finitude of life eliminates all that is ultimately irrelevant and forces us to zero in on that which truly matters to you, personally.